Hello, explorers. Welcome to one of your favorite TV shows here on KTN Home. My name is Eustace Segete, and as usual, I'm delighted to explore different hotspots with you every Saturday here on KTN Home. Now, today we are at the National Archives in the capital city of Nairobi. Now, if you are a lover of history, art and culture, then this is a discerning spot for you, because you know what, you'll get all that under one roof. Starting from where we are standing, this is the Murumbi Art Gallery, and what I am holding, this comes from this building that I'm from, that is the Swahili house. But don't you worry, because when you stick around for these 30 minutes, we are going to get more information, and we are going to learn so much more about this hotspot. So without further ado, let's get this show on the way, because we are about to pour some hot tea for you, our team explorers. All right, so Team Explorers, joining us here is the curator of the Murumbi Art Gallery, and of course he's going to tell us so much more about this place, starting with this item, this antique that I'm holding here. But first, he's going to introduce himself to us.
My name is Mr. Charles Okumo, the curator at the Murumbi Art Gallery, which is found inside the Kenya National Archives. Where you are standing, actually, this is where you can be able to sample the culture and ways of life of Africans in totality. And also, Murumbi is the one who initiated this good, noble idea for preservation of African culture, because very many people have been moving towards the Western culture. So this gallery, which is named after Joseph Murumbi, who was the second vice president of this country in 1966 only, and they resigned from all that to continue with this noble idea of preserving African culture. So from where I can see you are holding an item, and that is a teapot.
A teapot, I see. It looks very nice.
Yes.
They were pretty fashionable, these people that were designing these things.
That one has originated from the Swahili house.
Okay.
So the Swahili house are people, is from the coastal region. The whole of this small house you are seeing inside the Murumbi Art Gallery represent the interests of the coastal region.
All right.
Simply because they are the one, that was the gateway. They met very many visitors, the early visitors, the Dao trade, that was the gateway. And that's why comparatively they could be richer than us. This is because Nairobi is interior part of Kenya. So for that reason, you can see, for example, you can be able to see there's a seat there. That's a seat, administrative seat. Okay. It's a seat of a sultan. So if I want to talk about administration in the coastal region, it is important for us to preserve it for the future generation. Beside it, I can be able to see clearly that's a treasury box. So they used to have storage facility.
All right.
And to bring to your mind closely, these things were only used by very, very rich people in society.
Oh, really?
So you are also equally richer because you are holding it.
I see.
Yes. And beside it, you can also be able to see a grinder, traditional grinder. So
there are actually two of them.
To be perfect, I think I will invite you inside the Swahili house so we can be able to explore more.
But of course, so let's get in, Team Explorers.
This is the Swahili house, and particularly this is the Swahili kitchen. You can be able to see it is partitioned.
Yeah, I can see.
Yes, the partition is not, it is for a very good intention, because those people in the coastal region, they are Muslims, they are polygamous, and because women like fighting in the cooking place, fighting for a good food for the husband, that fight dispute, that's why they are partitioned. Every woman must have her own partition. For example, the first wife, Mwana Asha, Mwana Fatuma, Mwana Mvua, Mwana. So they are like that to avoid wrangles in the kitchen.
Oh, so, interesting. Let me return this one where we got this one from. I can see there are quite other varieties of teapots.
Yes, before a dispute starts. Like, for example, this plate is called Chinese porcelain plate. Yes, which
can we hold it?
Yes, which means Chinese also participated in the Dao trade.
Oh, it's
down
big
here,
enough.
You can be able to see, down here we have got, this is a kitchen item. This is a juicer.
Oh.
A traditional juicer whereby you can be able to put a tomato inside here.
Okay.
And then you squeeze it. And then it will come out from here, the liquid you need. Right now, if you go to supermarket, you buy something that is related.
The blenders.
Yes, the blenders.
And this is weaponry?
Yes, we can also be able to see, we are still gender here. This is for a man.
Okay.
For example, that is a dagger, and that is called ceremonial dagger. It is a weapon, but it is not meant for war. It is only worn when for that particular ceremony.
Okay, interesting. So this Swahili culture clearly represents everything within the coastal region, and you can clearly see from the different pieces of art here. Now, Bwana Curator, the space is quite big for us to explore. Where are you taking us next?
From here, let us exactly go and see some cultural aspect of African natives at large.
All right, here we go, Team Explorers, tuvuke ngambo. So here we are walking, of course, seeing things besides me to the left and to the right.
Yes, Madam Yusta, where we are here, this is where we do introduction for all visitors who comes in, because some of them are domestic tourists, some of them international, they don't know Kenya. So you cannot talk about Kenya without talking about Mzee Jomo Kenyatta,
the first president of the Republic of Kenya.
And because he ruled for those kind of years and he died in 1978, he left the throne to President Moi, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. He also did his 24 years, and that is why now when we talk about the history of this particular country, it brings us where we are, where nowadays we have got term limit for ruling of a country of the presidency. So this is called the presidential bust. It is the bust of the president. The head, the neck, and the shoulders of the president, it is made of bronze. So it represents the cabinet and the executive arm of the government.
All right, so these are the first two things you will be able to see just when you enter the gates of the National Archives of Kenya. Yes.
Interestingly, Madam Yusta, we have got African attires because they believe that we are not having clothes. But if you see from here, this is an African innerwear. It is made from the ostrich eggshell. It is very heavy.
It's very heavy.
Yes, the heaviness is there so that when the wind is blowing, the wind does not humiliate you. So, and this is the belt. So when somebody is approaching you from front, and if you are a lady, you have to rotate it, and you only protect or prevent the most important part, which I think is around this area.
This is can be worn by both the female and
it is gender sensitive. Yes, and this skin is the skin of a small animal. So this is an African innerwear. This one is African tracking items. For example, this one you can see it's a bell. This one is also from the tortoise shell, and this is from the wooden. A wooden one is for the camels.
I can also see a mat here. What was this used for?
Yeah, this is an example of an African red carpet, but it was used, it actually is called a knee mat. You cannot kneel in front of a king without this. So that's a better way of saying an African red carpet, the way the president uses. Across here,
can see different kind of face masks?
Yes, these are also from the Kuba people of the DRC Congo, but this is for their diversity. For example, you can be in a social gathering, they could be able to use them depending on the kind of nature. For example, the one you see up there, that one is a mask of nobility. Only important person could use it.
Like the kings.
Yes, and like the kings. But this one in the middle here with very long cloth, that is a funeral mask. Only widow could have it when they are burying their husband for humility, humiliation. So this is also a circumcision mask worn by those children being changed to adulthood. So it's also used as a mask to avoid too much humiliation to the boy child. This one here you can be able to see is a polygamous mask. That is the first wife, the second wife, the third wife. It is also that there to show the dispute that happens in a polygamous family, and the man loves all of them. The man does not chase even one. And actually from physical look, you can see the second wife. That elongated tongue and that teeth that is looking like aluminium and that hairstyle shows you exactly how she decided to humiliate the first wife with a very big head. And that's why the young woman is brought here to neutralize the excess of the second wife. So they are going to live knowing that this husband belongs to all of us.
I see this is a weaponry area. Nani kama we are ready for war.
Yes, no, these are ceremonial weapons. They are not meant for war.
They are not meant
what
for war.
What I know is that they are diverse in nature, from different communities. They are made from different materials.
I could tell that.
And actually some of them are also used as currency. Like this is money from the Bakuba people of DRC Congo.
In what sense? How?
This is money you give somebody a spear. That's why the shape is what adds the value. You give somebody a spear, they give you one sack. A sack of maize or a sack of millet. But I think somebody was going at a loss in that.
I can only imagine in this time and era, if I was to give you a spear, what you do give me in exchange? I want millions of dollars.
Beside you also, before we forget, you can see there are couples here. If a family is very important, you can see this is the man, husband, this is the wife. This one talks about responsibility and consent and submissiveness from the woman's side, yes. So that's a family artifact.
Impressive. Back to this wall of weaponry, you mentioned different materials. I can already tell
this is made from water hyacinth, and you can be able to see that. This other side also, this is a skin of a hippopotamus, the Luias peoples. This also hippopotamus. And without forgetting even the one for the Luos, I can be able to see it. They're that big one. Yeah, that is what they used to do, what is called teroburu, during a cultural gathering in their own society.
And you mentioned they are for different ceremonies. What kind of ceremonies, perhaps?
Correct. For example, I can be able to say, like the Maasai people, they use these weapons to when they are fighting the lions. And that is part of their culture. But if other communities, they can use them as currencies. The other communities can also use them in their cultural activity. For example, the Luos could easily use this one in a funeral function, whereby they want to cast the demon of death so that it cannot repeat to take a noble person in society. This one could also be given if somebody has done exemplary, good thing in society. They are given gifts, so they could also give African weapons as a token to show that you are valuable in that particular society.
Amazing. You can see the rich history there, the rich culture there, just from, you know, a representation of weaponry. It's important when you come to the National Archives. You will get to learn this about maybe even your culture. So Team Explorers, let's take a short commercial break here on the Hotspot Show. We will be right back. Welcome back from the break. This is the Hotspot Show, a show that takes you to places that you get to explore and have fun fully. And today we are at the National Archives. Listen, when we went to the break, we found ourselves in the African bedroom, as you can see. I'm seated here still with Okumu, and just from the look of things, this looks very comfortable, and I like the design and antique. Bwana Okumu, tell us about this corner here.
Actually, this is the African bedroom.
Of course.
An African bedroom is just like a sacred bedroom, just like in Christianity. It comes along with a baby hammock behind me here. It comes along with a baby cot, which means there's proper arrangement.
Clearly, you can see what's happening in the modern home setup and in the traditional setup. But also, right in front of you, I can see some art. What's that all about?
Yes, this artifact is related to the bedroom here.
Oh, really?
And that is now fertility. That is, if a barren woman cannot be able to get a child, they go extra, very many places, very many avenues. But what is in the mind of an artist is that before you go and start looking for those avenues, you must first struggle with these artifacts here.
All right, talking of artifacts, I still can see some more on your side, and perhaps you could just walk over there and actually get up close and personal with what is on this side.
You are very right.
African gold.
Correct.
Perhaps you can tell us what season was this, or what period was the African gold used, or what's the value of it?
for example, that is, you can see clearly that is an African gold, which means it was a measure of value.
Yeah.
For example, if you want to pay a dowry, you can, depending on the wealth that woman has got very many degrees, you give her a bigger one.
Yeah.
And if this, for example, these are pellets for measuring. So gold, for example, even if you go to Ghana, that's why we have got a Santa Hene golden stool here. Yes. So they were using gold itself in their currency.
Okay.
And apart from that, you can be able to see behind us here directly is the origin of the Kikuyu culture, and actually Madam Mumbi and Mr. Gikuyu. That is the origin, and that sculpture talks about those 9 daughters and those 9 men. So we have to keep that, because this story has been told severally by mothers around the fire.
And I can also see we have African ivory, we have clay and stone artifacts, and of course that other side I can see the Wakamba beadwork, the calabash art on this level. We are not yet done exploring this place, are we?
Correct, not yet. There's a lot here. It's only maybe we can go and sample. Somebody can ask, we Kenyans, we're just talking about things from different countries. What about Kenyans? We have got things from Kisii, Luo,
like
Marians. This is indigenous artifacts made of wood. It's from the Meru County. So this one talks about life and death. What you cannot be able to see from this other side is a newly born baby child. What you are seeing here is a bird of bad omen and all. People don't eat it in Africa. It's a sign of death. That's why I see, and these hands belongs to the mother of this child. So the mother of this child is trying to protect the child from death. So an African child must be protected. So it talks about life and death. In the real essence, whenever you are enjoying anything, don't overdo it. Death will come. So you have to treat slowly.
That's a nice concept and a nice mantra to live by the way. I like that. And then, of course, we have the famous Kisii soft spot. And, of course, just from looking at it, I like how shiny it is. It feels very soft.
And smooth.
And very
just
smooth.
Just like yourself. You see?
You're smooth on that one.
Yes. So this is Kisii soapstone. And actually, it talks about the struggle of independence. It talks about exactly what happened at the peak of independence: eradication of poverty, eradication of illiteracy, eradication of diseases. That was the manifesto at the independence. So from viewing it, you can be able to see the front view is, this is a newly born baby bird. This is the beak of the bird. This is the head of the bird. These are the 2 wings of the bird. So what you can be able to see is a struggling bird. That struggle is what has been compared to what exactly position where the country was at the peak of independence, which means we went through a lot of challenges. So it is Kisii soapstone.
That makes me say that the next place we are going to explore is where, you know, the presidential wall, particularly which president?
The 3rd president of Kenya is the president people are missing so much, the late Mwai Kibaki.
And let's go and check out the Hall of Fame of President Kibaki.
All right, this is a Wall of Fame of the 3rd president of the Republic of Kenya, the late President Mwai Kibaki, of which Kenyans are very proud about. And that's where we have put very big photographs here because of what he did. Actually, Kibaki, from the wall here, you can be able to see, you can see a superhighway. That one which tells you that Vision 2030 was his brainchild. And he did that. And you can see very many people in primary school and secondary school. It is Kibaki opened the gate of a free primary education. A photograph like that one up there talks about the presidential swag. It's a scenario whereby the President Moi and the Deputy President, Vice President Kibaki could be seen harmoniously working together. They are putting on red shirts, which means they are all KANU members. You can also see from the board here, there's a lot of exciting moments. You can see Kibaki was a really golf lover. You can also see Kibaki got a very serious accident the other side, and he still managed to ascend to power, which he used properly. Kibaki said that if you get opportunity to be in leadership, Madam Yusta, use it properly to empower the people that are down. Don't you get advantage and use it to benefit yourself. Those are some of the quotes that we are learning from President Kibaki, and this and any other. The history of the presidency in this country is well established in this institution of the Kenya National Archives within the Murumbi Art Gallery.
And I think it's an important part of the history that it is included here, and that the fact that, you know, they have a whole wall, you know, dedicated to them. So it is very important. And I mean, apart from the artifacts, apart from the culture and everything, it's important for also for us to learn our political history. Now, one would wonder, if I want to come here, how much will it cost me?
Of course, it's not free, but it's almost like free, comparative with other institutions that have gone.
How much are we talking about?
One Kenyan child is 20 shillings.
Okay.
One Kenyan adult is supposed to be 50 shillings. One non-resident is 200. Where there's a problem is e-citizen. For every entry, every transaction, if it is one Kenyan adult, let us just openly say, because we are honest people, one Kenyan adult is 100 shillings. Which means if you come like 10 people, every Kenyan will pay 50, 50, 50, but there's going to be 150, only a 50 shilling attached to for every transaction. So one Kenyan adult is 100 shillings, one Kenyan child is 20 shillings, non-resident is 200. It is affordable.
Very affordable.
Very much affordable.
I can also say so myself. What time do you open?
We usually open at 9 and close at 4:30.
Will I get a guide to walk me through?
Definitely, you have to get a guide. We usually give you a guide. Particularly, we like giving a guide if you have formalized your visit, then we prepare for you. But all the times, the guide is usually around here to make sure Kenyans are guided so that they understand their culture properly and the history of their country properly.
Absolutely. Am I allowed to take photographs in here when I visit?
We give you opportunity, but it's a guided opportunity for proper accountability, and it is a collective responsibility for all Kenyans to preserve these artifacts for future generation and for future scholars.
I like that, and that's a very good point to note. And I think it is also a really good point for us to end our tour here today.
Thank you very much, and I want to just say, invite all Kenyans, all domestic tourists to come and enjoy. The issue of standing outside Kenya National Archives, using archives as a landmark, and there's this gold mine inside here. Actually, I'm happy for the platform of KTN plus your show, and actually, madam, so that next time we shall improve together.
Absolutely. Wanasema usikuje tu archives ukatumia kama landmark, also get to see what's in between these majestic walls. Thank you so much for keeping it KTN, and of course for tuning in to the Hotspot Show every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Remember to follow us and check the previous episodes on our YouTube channel. My name is Eustace Segete, and from me and the entire amazing crew, we wish you a beautiful weekend ahead.